life keeps changing day by day, like a hurricane. They say that nothing ever stays the same. Well, what became of the love that we once had? And when the good times turn to bad, remember, it ain't the big things that make my heart sing. I'm just waiting on the phone to ring, 'cause it's a small talk that makes a bigger picture. Brothers and sisters, it's a small talk that paints a bigger world. So when you're out there on your own, far away from home, and you're searching from your soul for some love solid, just remember this, it's a small talk that paints a bigger picture. That's where the heart is. It's a small talk that makes a bigger world. Just get started, so when you're ready and you're able, pull a chair up to the table. Oh, it's a small talk that makes a bigger picture. Brothers and sisters, it's a small talk that paints a bigger world.
Welcome everyone to our next episode of Big Conversations with Small Talk. I'm Alex again, here with Sara and Megan. We had a really special background contest, and we're going to have a special guest join us a little bit later in the show too, with another special guest. So it's like it's like Inception of special guests on our show today. So if we want to I guess just introduce what the background contest was this last week. We reached out to one of our supporters and good friends at Small Talk, Kory Pruce, who works at Pruce Pets in Lansing, which is a really cool pet store. They have all different kinds of animals. So we reached out and kind of asked her if there were some different animals that she would want to maybe feature as backgrounds for the show this week, but then also choose choose one as our background and then maybe have that animal come on as a guest. So we had a tie up until the very last moment, just up until a couple hours ago. So we'll go ahead and reveal our background and then be joined by Kory and a special guest here in a couple minutes. So.
Okay, so because it's so zoomed in, everyone might be wondering, what is that? So I'm going to show the picture of the full animal. So this is Susie the ferret, and we're so excited to have her on our show in just a little bit with Kory.
Yes, it's going to be exciting. This is as you watch, you'll see that this is going to be a jam-packed animal-filled show, which we know people love based on some of our past background contests. So for all the animal lovers, you'll be very excited and you'll want to stick around for the whole thing. There's a lot of animal cameos on this episode, which is exciting. So
I know, I think this might be my favorite episode yet. I can't wait.
It's hard to debate for sure. So as we started doing last week, we wanted to just give people some updates on what's going on at Small Talk. Like we talked about last week, we're still plugging along. We're doing all of our services virtually. So all of our forensic interviews and counseling is still being done virtually, and advocacy, which Megan's doing, is all being done virtually too. But I know Sara had some updates about our interns and what we have planned for what's going on right now and what we have planned for the rest of the summer.
Yeah. So interns at Small Talk are so important to the work that we do. They help us out with a lot of different things, and we love to be able to help them on their educational journey, and they definitely make a big difference in the work that we do. And so we had Emily, who is a master's counseling intern, start a couple of weeks ago, and she's been transitioning really well, even though her internship is starting virtually, which is a new experience for everybody. And then we have Jamie, who is a master's in social work intern, who will be starting in a couple of weeks. And then we have a couple more starting in the fall, but we will share that when they do start. So we can't wait to have them on board.
Yeah, and if you want to see two examples of really great interns, well, one, you can go back to our very first episode when we highlighted two of our graduating interns. It seems nuts that was just in April,
right?
And that they've only been gone for 2 months, and now we're starting up with a new crop of interns, which is nuts. But and then also Tess was an intern too, so we make intern dreams come true at Small Talk. Sometimes they come, well, Megan also, so
right.
So sometimes they come back and we have job openings, and they get to be here permanently, which is pretty cool. So all right, well, we're gonna take a just really quick break for a graphic, and then we're gonna have Kory and a special guest join us, so stick around. All right, well, I just wanted to welcome everybody back. We have this is the first time that we've had sort of like an early special guest in our show, so we have Kory Preuss here from Preuss Pets, who has our background contest winners and some special guests with us today. So thank you for joining us, Kory. We appreciate you taking the time.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
Yes. Yeah, right, exactly. So do you want to introduce us to your friends, your guests that you have today?
So these ones are a little special because these ones actually live with me, and also are going to be part of our education team when things lift a bit in the future. Right now we're not doing any educational stuff out in schools or anything, obviously, but this is Susie, the ferret. Susie.
Hi, Susie.
And then this is, surprise guest, Wendell, her new brother. Wendell's a really good story behind him, let me tell you. Susie and Wendell.
Nice. That is so cool. So who had the next question?
I think it was you, Alex.
Oh, what is my first question? I lost my papers. I was so excited. There were two ferrets instead of one, and I got all flustered. So
I could talk about these guys for days, so let me know what you want to know. But they.
All right. Yes. All right. Here we go. So, just tell us about Susie and Wendell. What are they like? How did they get to you?
They're polar opposites, actually, in a lot of ways. Wendell is about as feisty as they come, as you can tell here. He's ready to run and romp and play at the park like he does. And then Susie is ready to probably take a nap. She'll probably yawn during this video. She's much more laid back than Wendell. The thing with ferrets, I call them furry piranhas. They are definitely not a pet for most. It takes a very special person and family dynamic. They can get quite feisty. Their skin is 3 times as thick as human skin, so they don't realize when they bite down what it feels like to us. So yeah, they're really unique. And Wendell, I should mention, is actually quite a story. He almost did not survive last week. He actually was adopted by a family, got into some rat poison. That's the thing with ferrets. You have to be so careful because they can squeeze into anything. They're little weasels. So with Preuss, we're really big into vet care. So I had him rush him to the vet. He survived. He pulled through. And now he's part of my family. So he's a little rescue situation.
He's a survivor.
Right.
Survivor, yes. Yeah.
So you mentioned that they, ferrets can like get anywhere and do anything. And what are some of Susie and some of Wendell's favorite things to do or favorite places to like go to?
Yeah, so if you want some free edging along your sidewalk at your house, ferrets are the ones. They love to dig. They became common pets in the 80s, but they were domesticated 2,500 years ago. And they actually first were used to go and hunt rabbits and rodents. So they're really big at burrowing and digging and trying to find things. Yesterday when Susie was edging, as I call it, along the sidewalk, she found a worm. That was exciting. But they also, they go on bike rides. They have a little ferret backpack and they go on the bike when the weather is appropriate. So that's fun. They love to play hide and go seek in the house. Ferrets are way more intelligent than I ever knew. And yeah, they're pretty smart. You can kind of train them like a dog, actually. So pretty interesting.
That's so impressive. Yeah, I never knew that that they were that smart and that they could be trained. And that was kind of another piece of what we were hoping to find out from you, is like, what is it like to train a ferret, and like, can they do any cool tricks, and what's it like to raise them as a pet?
Yeah, so Susie, for example, is and they're both babies. They're still pretty young and they're pretty new. So Susie's only about what is she? She's 6 months, and Wendell's only 4 months. So they're babies. And Susie's just learning to come by her name. So done a lot of cues out in big fields where Susie will come, you call her, and then you just give her lots of positive reinforcement and praise when she comes, similar to dog training. And Wendell, he's still a bit young yet, but we will train him over time. He's very food motivated. I'll tell you that much like me.
Right. I think that, yeah, ferrets are not so dissimilar from us. Yes, we're all very food motivated.
Yeah.
What do ferrets like to eat?
Well, discovered that Susie, you shouldn't feed these to your ferrets, but I discovered Susie loves tacos. They're carnivores, so she loves beef. Had a taco, she ran over, grabbed it out of my hand, ripped half the taco off, and ran away with it. Ferret actually translates to, I believe it's little thief. But they don't, their natural diet is not tacos like mine. Their diet consists of, they eat a pelleted mix. It's a carnivore diet. When they're little kits or little ferrets, so not long ago actually, they were eating a wet food mixture, similar to like a canned cat food. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Did you see her yawn?
Oh. Well, I think we found our highest rated show, guys. I think this is this is pretty exciting. And I feel like I'm learning a lot too, because I had no idea. So when you say that you like let them out in the field, they just go out and run and they'll come back to you?
Well, not quite.
Okay.
They're learning. You definitely have to be on top of safety. It's like having a toddler that never ends. So you have to always watch where they're going. And also, if you're taking them outside, a couple things you have to be careful of are pesticide usage. So we're careful what fields we take them to. And also hawks. You have to watch out for birds flying overhead. Would not fare well for Wendy and Susie if a hawk swooped overhead and saw a little snack. So
right.
Yeah.
That is a good tip. Well, thank you so much, Kory, for taking the time to talk with us and bring on. This is our first live animal demo that we have. We know you have so many cool animals at Pruce. We just wanted to give you a chance if there's anything that, I know that, obviously everybody's had to change the way they do business because of COVID. But just wanted to see if there's anything that you wanted to share about what you guys are still doing to reach out to your customers. And, you guys are sort of a fixture here in our local community. So what kind of things are you guys have going on at Pruce these days?
Yeah, so COVID has been a challenge for small business owners, that's for sure. I don't think I slept very well the first month and a half. It's, it's our livelihood. It's what we do. It's what we love. And we actually shut down for the first month of operations because knowing that we're such a tourist destination, we wanted to do what was safest. And we knew people were going to try to come out. And so we just shut operations. And we also halted any animal adoptions for about a month and a half because the human-animal bond is so strong, and you have to have connection with your pet. In order to do that, we want to be person to person, So now that we are doing adoptions again, we've set up a way that you can book an appointment and have your adoption in our classroom. And we're actually loving it because it's very personalized and it's going really well. So we are requiring masks for all of our staff as well as all of our customers, and we will continue to do that for a while here. But I just want to remind everybody that when you support local for your pet essentials, you leave about 68% of that dollar in your community as opposed to online. And so it's really important to support your local brick and mortars. So, yeah.
Agreed. Go to Proofs. They're awesome. I think like we were talking a little bit before you jumped on, Kory, about just like Megan had shared, a really fun story about just, I don't know if you want to share it, Megan. It was just a really cool story about Proofs.
So I actually live about 40 minutes from Small Talk and from Proofs. And a couple years back, I was a nanny. And there was one day where the kid that I was nannying, we had nothing to do, so we decided let's go take a trip to the pet store. And so we drove out to Proust. He had never been before. We spent probably a good hour and a half just like walking around and looking at the birds and the lizards and the fish, and it's just such a cool destination. And it's not really, a pet store. It feels like it's almost like, it's nothing like I've ever experienced before. It's awesome to be able to go somewhere and interact with so many different kinds of animals, and it's just a really cool place to get to go.
Aw, well, thanks for coming. Yeah, I kind of chuckle because when I go to do a search for places to take kids in Lansing, Proust always comes up as one of the top 3. So I always try to do everything I can to make it kid friendly and, try to, yeah. And my parents have done just such a phenomenal job designing a store that caters to people who want to come in and just look around. And we know we get a lot of people that come in and just want to enjoy the culture and the ambiance that is Proust Pets. So thanks for coming.
Yes, no, it is the greatest pet store. I can say that with full confidence. I feel very strongly about that. It is such a cool place to go. And I think, for any of our watchers and listeners, if they haven't been, definitely, especially once things kind of clear up and we're able to, roam more freely around our community, Proust is, you have to check it out. It's such a cool place to go. And, I guess we didn't, Kory, you especially, and, your whole store has been really supportive of Small Talk. When we had Preston, our canine advocate, you guys were really supportive of him, and he would come in once a month and pick up some toys and some food, and and you guys have done fundraisers for us. So, we, just on behalf of all of us at Small Talk and all the kids we serve, we just want to thank you too for your support and, being huge advocates for us in the community as well. So it's only right we return the favor and talk about how great you guys are too, because you've done that for us for a long time. So.
Of course. And we always will support you guys because I hold a very special, near and dear place in my heart personally to Small Talk. So thank you guys so much. Yeah. What you do is so important.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you so much, Kory, and I'm sure we'll talk to you soon.
These guys are falling asleep.
No, we bored them. Oh no.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thanks. We'll see you later.
Okay.
Bye. You're up with your more than a minute.
Yeah, so this week I just wanted to share some pretty cool activities to do now that it's starting to get into summertime, starting to get hot outside, and there's so many different activities that we can do while we're getting ready for summer. A really cool website that I found, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for this one, is from Scholastic. So this is Craft with Klutz. So there's all sorts of really fun activities, printable documents and things like that on here that you can go through and make at home just to kind of get some fun activities going. And I started thinking more about, how fun outdoor games are, like the giant Jenga games and things like that. And I saw this tic-tac-toe game where you can get the air dry clay or something like that and make a tic-tac-toe board with some of those different kinds of clays. And then to make it even more fun and interactive, you can make larger pieces and draw, like take some chalk and make an outdoor tic-tac-toe board, or even use like a couple of teammates and have like a large interactive tic-tac-toe board, which can be really fun to have some time outside and enjoying some of the outdoor nice warm summer weather stuff. But this website also has all sorts of really cool like activities. I'm sure that Alex and Sarah, you both remember the rock candy. I thought this was a really fun thing to be able to do. I didn't know how easy it could be to make your own. So that's one of the articles on here, is learning how to grow your own rock candy and kind of watching, how the sugar crystallizes on that piece of string or, toothpick or whatever it is you want to use to grow your own rock candy. And that's a really fun kind of science experiment to do with kids while we're at home, or even as adults for just a fun, tasty treat. But then this website has all sorts of, printable coloring pages and activities, and lots of just really cool things to do to get outside. And I started to think more about, what kinds of things we can do outside. And there is, so many different activities that we can go through and make while we're stuck kind of at home. And one of the things I thought about, now that we, movie theaters are still kind of up in the air as far as like, when we can go back to those and what that's kind of going to look like. So a really fun activity would be to create your own backyard drive-in theater. Set up some chairs, hang up a white sheet on some trees, or come up with like some kind of way to hang it up on the house or anything, and set up a projector. You can find some really decent like portable projectors online for a pretty fair price too, and just being able to have that family time and that quality time in a way that's creative and different from what we would normally be able to do. And then another thing that I had thought for myself, being somebody who loves summertime for like fairs and the carnival and things like that, is creating your own backyard carnival. So setting up all sorts of different games that you used to play or that you would do when you go to the fair, set those up in your backyard and invite a couple different friends over or some family members, and just be able to take some time to do some fun activities that we might not be able to do this year, and just make it fun, make this summer totally different from anyone that we've had before, and just kind of have fun and enjoy it while we're able to.
I like it. Get creative. I think that's a good idea. And you can have your rock candy at your outdoor drive-in theater. Do you guys like rock candy? I had some for the first time in probably like more than 20 years, like maybe 4 weeks ago. And it was good. I liked it.
I haven't had it in a long time. Like I can't honestly say if I like it or not. I don't even know if I've ever actually eaten it. I might have just only looked at it in my lifetime.
Yeah. The only part that kind of like scared me was that you grow it. It's like, I mean, I guess, I mean, you do grow. I mean, most food is grown, right? So maybe it's not
basically a vegetable, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Because it grows. Yeah, it's not in the ground, but it's growing. So maybe that is passable as a vegetable. If I make some green rock candy,
Right.
Yeah.
that's probably fine. We're giving good advice on this show.
Yeah.
Just stay
Rock
healthy.
vegetable.
Eat candy vegetables. That's always a good choice. All right, cool. Well, yeah. Oh, go ahead, Megan.
I've always loved, like, I'm a sweets person, but I have lots of memories of going to, like, Greenfield Village, and it was always a pretty tough decision between the rock candy and the Jawbreakers.
Oh, Jawbreakers. Wow.
Yeah. Lots
I
of,
forgot
like,
about
just
those.
sugar.
Okay. So what would you choose most of the time?
The Jawbreakers.
Really? Okay.
Mhm. Even though they were, like, the most frustrating because it would take so long to get through them. You would, like, have to let it sit out, and it was probably really gross to, like, have this piece of candy running everywhere with you, but it was still really fun.
That's a good one. All right, awesome. Thanks, Megan. All right, well, we'll jump right into skills and support with Sara, so she can talk about breathing exercises that we can do.
Yeah. So the reason why I wanted to talk about breathing today is just because it's, we hear about it so much. Like, it's just so common to hear people say, take a deep breath, or like, you need to calm down, just breathe. But we hear it so much because it really does make a big difference, and it can really help us if we learn how to do it properly and we practice it a lot. And breathing is a great tool to have in your toolkit because you don't need anything. It's with you all the time because all you need is yourself. So whether you're, laying in bed at night and you can't fall asleep, or you're in school and, you don't want to like show a bunch of people that you're doing something to calm down, it's a really easy thing to do. So what I wanted to focus on today is a couple of techniques that are great for adults and caregivers, and can be modified to make them really fun for kids as well. So I wanted to start just by going over kind of the basic foundation of like how can we really breathe effectively for relaxation. And so I'm going to teach what's called belly breathing. And it's a little bit tricky because you can't see me how it might be helpful to see me when we're teaching breathing, but I'll just kind of try to walk you through the steps. So belly breathing is called belly breathing because we really want to try to take a nice deep breath from our belly rather than from our chest, which is where we might kind of breathe from day to day without thinking about it too much. So when we can get a really nice deep breath from our belly, it helps us to relax even more. And so how to practice this is by placing one hand on your chest and one hand kind of right before your, like right under your ribs, kind of on the top of your belly. And if you guys want to practice this with me, you can. Feel free. So what we want to do when we do this is we want to breathe in through our nose and we want to breathe out through our mouth and kind of make like a shape with our lips, like as if we're whistling a little bit when we breathe out. And when we breathe, we really want to try to keep our chest hand from moving very much. And it does take a lot of practice. And we want our belly hand to be the one to move. So we can practice taking a nice deep breath in through our nose. And we should feel our belly kind of moving out. And then we can breathe out through our mouth. Good job, you guys. So when you practice belly breathing with your kids, it can be really fun to have them pick out a stuffed animal or a favorite toy that they have. And especially when you can kind of either sit back like really nice and relaxed in your chair, or I would recommend laying down if you can, because then you can really see and feel the difference with the belly breathing. So their stuffed animal, they can watch when they place it on their belly, they'll watch it move up and down. And it can kind of be like a nice reminder for them when they pair their favorite toy with the breathing that, you know, we can practice these things and have fun, and incorporate some playful elements too. So I do have some Sesame Street videos up on our website that make breathing, especially belly breathing, really fun and engaging. So check those out. And then I want to teach you one more quick technique that's kind of using the belly breathing skills that we just learned that adults can use and kids can use before we go today. So this is called Take 5 breathing. And so I want you to put your hands out like this. Hopefully we can see them okay with our backgrounds. It kind of goes in and out a little bit sometimes, but we'll do our best. And then take a pointer finger of your other hand and place it down at the outside base of your thumb. And so using these skills that we just learned, breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth and really trying to get it from our belly, what we're going to do is when we breathe in, we're going to slide up our thumb. And when we breathe out, we're going to slide down the other side of our finger. And then be sure to pause at the bottom so that we don't get dizzy and breathe too quickly. With kids, this can happen pretty easily. So, you know, if you're doing it with a child, you can kind of be setting the pace for them. So let's practice a little bit for a couple of fingers together. Yep, so we'll start back at the base. Thank you, Alex. Okay, so we'll breathe in through our nose. And then breathe out through the mouth. And let's do a couple more. Breathe in and out. Good job, guys. Let's do one more. Breathe in and out. And so just to save time today, we'll stop there, but typically I'd recommend going through the whole hand. And it can be a nice grounding exercise too, because just feeling the sensation of kind of going up and down your fingers helps to remind you of, you know, your body sensations in the moment. You feel nice and present. And so try it out for yourself and with any kids that you might have in your life. I have a couple of handouts up on the website for the Take 5 breathing, but also for some other different fun activities that you can check out. So now that you know the basics, you can really take that and try a bunch of different activities. So thanks, guys, for helping me to demonstrate that.
Yeah, of course. Breathing exercises, I think, are really fun, especially like for younger kids when you find a way to do it that's engaging. I know I have one kid in particular who like will do cookie breathing. So you smell the cookie and then you blow on it because the cookie's too hot. That every time when I meet with this particular kid, he tells me about the times that he's needed to use cookie breathing. So it's like, I don't know, you can make it fun for kids. And I know the way that I always introduce it when I have new clients and we talk about breathing exercises, I'll usually ask, like, it's my horrible like counselor or dad joke. It's like, do you know how to breathe? And then they look at me like, dude, come on. Like, of course, I've been breathing my whole life. And I'm like, well, then this should be really easy. And then it's a fun way for us to just kind of have a conversation about how helpful it can be, to learn and practice these things. And it is like, I feel like there's a lot of coping skills that kids can use, but it is the one that is, like you said, Sarah, it's the one that's most portable. Like you'll always have your breath with you. You can use it wherever you go. And then, incorporating different elements like using your hand or where you place your hands on your body can, switch it up a little bit too if kids get bored or if one particular type of breathing exercise isn't working for them. You always have it.
Right, exactly. And I think, as I've mentioned before a couple of times on our show previously, just practicing it regularly is so important so that, we can use it effectively when we might be really upset or in crisis mode. So it's a good preventative strategy too, to kind of keep our stress levels from rising up too high. So it can be used for so many different things, and very important to practice when we can.
Yeah, awesome. All right, cool. So when you see us again, we'll be with our special guest, but we're going to have Tess pop in and do a test talk before we continue on with our show. So we'll see you guys in a minute.
Hi, and welcome back to Test Talks. So I wanted to today continue a little bit of a conversation that I was having last week about transitioning into summertime, especially with all of the unknowns with the coronavirus and just kind of how to navigate what's going on right now. So I came across an article from the Child Mind Institute, and we'll link it for you guys to check out more because I'm just going to briefly go over it. But just some tips on how to help siblings especially get along during summertime, especially when they can't go out as much right now with all of the social distancing practices in place. So they had a list of 6 different tips to help siblings get along during the summertime. I'm going to quickly go through them, and like I said, we'll link the article so you can look into it more as well. So first one is to just set ground rules. For example, like setting up clear schedules and systems at a time when everybody is calm and can agree on all of these systems. You want to have these in place before actually things blow up, that kind of stuff. So doing it when everybody's calm, can be in their right minds, and then you can utilize those systems if things get elevated. Next one is to be specific and age appropriate, using concrete tools to make these rules clear to everybody in the family. So for younger kids, it might be using timers to signify taking turns, and having clear visual schedules that will help them anticipate what's coming next in the day. For older kids, maybe trying a written contract that everybody can collaborate on and sign. This gives siblings a chance to work towards a common goal, or towards many common goals. For teenagers, it might be more of a conversational approach. For example, what they used in the article was like, hey, we've noticed that you and your sibling are having a difficult time sharing this space. What are some solutions that you think might be productive? Next tip is to provide lots of positive reinforcement, and this can be kind of difficult to really notice the positives because usually it's the negatives that we notice, and we don't want these negative behaviors, so we focus on those. But to provide lots of positive reinforcement, reinforcing the behavior that you want, and avoid focusing too much on behavior that you don't want. Next, being open about differences between siblings. I have a guest who's making an appearance today. Being open about differences between siblings. So this means that rules might not be exactly the same for siblings depending on their ages, but that doesn't mean that the differences are unfair, and explaining those reasons for the differences between kids of different ages. Next, clearing up roles and responsibilities. So defining roles clearly for kids and having an open conversation about what's expected of everybody, setting age-appropriate boundaries, and checking in with kids and teens often to kind of see how things are working and reevaluating if things need to change. Finally, they encourage emphasizing silver linings, so praising positive interactions between siblings, like I had said earlier, focusing on that positive. Also promoting shared experiences like family movie night, going on walks together, game night, that kind of stuff, something that everybody can come together and share. And finally, rewarding teamwork among siblings. You know, maybe if they've had so many positive interactions in a week, having some sort of special reward, you know, going out to ice cream, something like that. So like I said, we'll link the article, and there's a lot more information there. I just kind of breezed through it, but just some tips to help siblings get along during summertime, especially when everybody's kind of stuck in the house or not as able to go out and interact with people as much. So hopefully you'll find these tips helpful, and hopefully they'll help siblings get along during these summer months. Thanks, everybody.
So welcome back, everybody. We have our special guest joining us today. So we have Jessica Carls and Kory, both from the Ingham County Prosecutor's Office, who are joining us as our guests today on the show. So thank you guys for being here.
Hi, guys.
Hi. All right, awesome. So Sarah's going to pull up our, we have to figure out a different name for our wheel.
Oh yeah, spinny wheel.
Sure, that's a good one.
All right. So Jessica, I think we're gonna try to see if you can answer these for yourself and for Kory.
Oh, great.
They were created for humans, so it might be a little bit tricky, but we'll see.
That makes it more fun.
Okay, we've gotten this question so much. I feel like I just need to make new questions, but it's a good one. So, what is a weird food combination that you like, and also one that Kory likes?
For me, I wouldn't say I like weird food combinations. Everybody makes fun of me because they say I eat like a 5-year-old. I eat ranch on everything. I don't like lettuce, so I'm a really picky eater. So food combinations aren't really my thing. Kory, you usually think most dogs will eat just about anything, but she won't. Like, I gave her a strawberry the other day. She didn't want anything to do with it. She spit it right back out. She's picky. She's picky. Maybe she takes after me. I don't know.
Yeah, there you
Sounds like it. Have you seen those videos of it's especially like a lot of golden retrievers will do taste tests, like their owner
Tucker.
will put out all these different foods in front of them. It's so cute.
Yeah. She won't. Like, sometimes she'll eat carrots, sometimes she won't. She's weird like that. She just picks at her food. Unless I put scrambled eggs in it. She loves scrambled eggs.
There you go.
Okay. So scrambled eggs and dog food is the combination.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, that's for humans, that's very weird.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a good one. Very cool.
Okay. Well, thank you for answering our silly icebreaker.
Yeah.
So Jessica, can you tell us a little bit about what you and Kory do at the prosecutor's office?
Yeah, so Kory, her official title at the prosecutor's office is a courtroom support dog. But she also will sit in on meetings for anyone that comes into the prosecutor's office as a victim or anything like that. She can also sit in court for any kids under the age of 16, or any vulnerable adults. She will sit up there on the stand with them and just lay down next to them just to kind of give them a little bit of support, let someone know that they're there. She's also available to come to Small Talk at any time for counseling, forensic interviews, whatever she's needed for.
Case review.
Yes, case review. She likes
then-
to look at herself in the lamps
Right.
at Small Talk.
So cute. Can you tell us about like your role a little bit, Jessica?
So I'm basically just her handler. I'm the one in the back. She's usually the star of the show. But she comes to work with me every day. She hangs out in my office when we're not in court. But usually what we do, if we have a child that needs to go to court, she will meet with a child prior to court, and then we'll kind of show the child around the courtroom, show them where I'm going to sit, show them where Kory's going to sit, and just kind of get them acclimated to their surroundings, so they feel a little bit more comfortable about having to testify in court.
Well, you guys certainly make a great team. We've seen a lot of the wonderful work that you do together.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for all the help that you provide to our kids and families.
Right. So maybe Jessica, if you can talk a little bit about the impact that Kory has had on the families and kids that you've served, or maybe if there's like a special story that you can think of where, she had a really significant impact. She and you had a significant impact on a family.
So I think a lot of like what she does for because a lot of court time is sitting around and waiting, and you can be there for hours, and it can be really, really scary and frustrating and aggravating for kids and their parents when they're just sitting around waiting. So I think a lot of what Kory does in that situation is she just distracts. It gives them someone to play with, to sit down and pet, gives people something else to talk about besides what we're there for and what we're doing, kind of eases anxiety. So I think that she helps a lot with that. When she's on the stand, I think it helps the kids know that there's somebody there right next to them that if they need to, they can reach down and pet if they're feeling anxious or if they're scared. I think it's just comforting for them to know that she's there. I had one specific case of a girl, actually I had a couple, but I'll give you this one because this is my favorite. We were at a sentencing for a girl who was sexually assaulted, and she got nervous when it was time for her to go up and give her impact statement, and she decided not to do it. But Kory and I were sitting up there with her. Kory was sitting down in front of me. When the girl decided she didn't want to get up there to say anything, then Kory got up and walked over to her, started licking her hand and her arms, where she had noticed that, and I didn't notice this until Kory started doing it, but she had some scars on her arms as a result of self-harm. And Kory started licking those, and then laid her head in her lap, and the girl just started petting her, and then Kory just kind of leaned into her and just stood there until it was all over. That was my first big aha moment with Kory, that she knows what she's, she knows her purpose, and she knows what she's doing, and she knows what her job is. So that was my favorite story.
No, that's a great one. That's really powerful to hear. Like, it's just cool to know that they just know what to do, and they know who needs help and when they need it. It's their timing is perfect. So that's really cool to hear. I know,
and not only the kids, but the people in our office, she does it for too. I have prosecutors that come in there after having hard days, and we'll just sit down and just pet her, and even get on the floor with her and play. So she's been a huge help just in our office too.
Yeah. Having animals around makes a world of difference, that's for sure.
So, Kory's job is super important, and we've all been able to witness how great she is at her job, but we want to know what the best part about being her handler is.
Well, there's two things. I get to bring this amazing dog home with me, number one, because she is so well behaved. I have never had a dog I've never seen a dog this well behaved. So that amazes me. Unfortunately, I can't take credit for the training, but I think the best part is just seeing how she makes everybody smile. How everybody lights up when they see Kory. And that's watching her comfort people when they're upset. She just brings such a smile. Like, nobody can be in a bad mood or be upset when they're around her. Whether it's, I've had, people come in and just lay on her and cry, just bury their head in her chest and just cry. I've had that happen before. And I just, it's amazing to see her know what her job is and know how to do it. And she's so good at it. So it makes me smile when she makes other people smile.
That's awesome.
Or when she just sleeps and does nothing like that.
Right, yeah, exactly. She's a really great guest. She's not disrupting anything.
She's super involved.
Just chilling. That's good. So our last question, Jessica, is one that we ask everybody. There's a lot of talk about what, heroes, especially now when things are so difficult in our world and in our community. So what does being a hero mean to you?
I think that being a hero means that you're brave enough to tell your story and to do that so that you can help other people with your story, whether it's encouraging other people to come forward about their stories or preventing things from happening to other people.
That's great. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jessica and Kory. If you can hear me, or if you're not in too deep a sleep.
She's like, thanks for waking me up, Mom.
Yeah.
She has 2 new kittens that she is just getting to know as well in our house. So it's been an eventful few days for her.
Right. Maybe that's why she's so exhausted. Having to take care of.
She's not a morning person.
Guests. Well, that doesn't help either. So, All right. Well, thanks again, Jessica. We appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll see you soon. I'm sure.
Yes. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.